I installed two home studios, not three. I had installed two home studios, one in Cavuto's and then one in Stuart Varney's home.
Wow.
So he had a small apartment in Hoboken, and basically I just replaced his television with an 82-inch television in front of it, and the camera guy goes in every day and sets up, does a show, comes home.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I was wondering just how exactly they're getting this to appear as if they're in a studio. It looks like Bill Hemmer is still in that studio, right?
yeah, he's been doing a lot on the street that I know of. He's been trying to go out in the field a lot. When we had the ship come in, the military ship for as a hospital, you know,
Right.
he was out in the field for that, and they had a crew for him, and it's been interesting.
People were people were crazy, man. I remember when that ship came out on the Hudson River, a bunch of people like were just in crowds trying to see that ship, like just breaking social distancing.
Right. And speaking of crowds, I mean, look what's going on today. You have the protests that are going on, which is insane.
I'm curious. What's their argument? Why? I mean, I understand they want to go back to work, but are they denying that this is still an outbreak?
Right. I don't know. I just go back to work. I mean, if you want to go back to work and you're able to go back to work, I guess go back to work.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, everybody has to live their own life, and whether, I mean, I just don't understand. I just can't grasp it. I think
Y-
it's foolish, and they're putting more people at risk. But I was just reading an article like a few minutes ago that Texas is going to be the first state to come back. Actually, tomorrow, starting tomorrow or something like that, or next week, they're going to be
Start
the
going to
first
work?
state. Yeah, grocery stores and anybody that can do curbside service, delivery service,
Right.
um, curbside service, retails, um, they can go back to work, but they have to
I
wear
guess that
masks
I guess that
and
makes
they have
sense
to do
because
the,
if
still do the social distancing.
right, I mean, if there's not an outbreak in Texas, let's say there's what 200 cases in the whole state. I guess it makes sense. Why keep that state on lockdown for something that's probably the flu is more spreadable in that state at this point in time. I guess it doesn't make sense to kind of keep
So
them.
I think I could be off on the numbers, but they were saying there's 28 million people in Texas. So there's only like 72,000 cases of corona there.
Okay.
I could be off on the numbers a little bit, but I believe that's what I just read was that it was like 72,000. So I can understand a little bit. Okay, you're not having an extreme outbreak, but a lot of
Right.
people drive. You know, you in states like that in the Midwest, everybody drives. Everybody's in their
Right.
home. They go to a grocery store. They go to work. They're driving in their own cars. They're not interacting with thousands of people in the street like we do in New York.
Right. Maybe like I don't disagree with them getting back to work. Maybe just put a ban on like concerts and large gatherings for now.
I think so too. I just think you got to be smart, especially if you're the governor and you're going to authorize people to go back to work. Um, just make sure they're trying to practice good hygiene, I guess, and social distancing, and just make good decisions. Really, that's what it all
Yeah.
boils down to.
So I was curious. The past couple days, there's been like this new investigation. I think Fox News is helping lead right now about the fact that the virus started in a lab, or there's evidence that it came out of a lab in Wuhan, which I think is crazy.
I don't know what to believe on this story. I read this story about a week ago from the Washington Post. I read that story.
Right.
It was a week ago, and then everybody else started slowly bringing these stories out. And I don't know if we're trying to take away from the fact that we were slow to react. We had the intelligence that this was going to happen, and it is happening. but we didn't act on it. Two is that is this just a distraction? Like coming up with this, I mean, I don't know. They haven't verified the story. People are working on it to verify that this actually happened. Our U.S.
Right.
intelligence actually. I mean, I was just reading another article saying that our intelligence is trying to figure out if this really happened.
Right.
But even in the article, it says they had intelligence coming back to the United States saying this is going on and they're concerned about it. Right?
Right.
Isn't that what it said in one of those in the article? I guess.
Well, if this is the truth, because it sounds like a conspiracy theory, it sounds like Jeffrey Epstein type of conspiracy theory. But if this is the truth, then I feel like there's so many implications with that. I mean, is it a bioweapon? What?
I think what they were what the article said was that they were trying to compete with the United States in um, biohazard, I guess, pharmaceutical in a pharmaceutical way. I don't know the words that they, but they were trying to compete with the U.S. at a certain level of trying to figure out diseases, I guess, and so they were in Wuhan studying these bats that had a certain type of, the coronavirus as it, but they were actually trying to study about SARS too.
Right.
So, and then that's when they discovered the coronavirus in the bats. And apparently, I guess some of the articles or one of the article or some of the articles say that this individual, one of the scientists there, got infected and then infected the city basically.
Right. And like there was like low security, so it's not like they were screening people in and out. And then Chinese government tried to shut it down or cover it up.
Right. And we haven't got any great information from the Chinese government since this ordeal has happened. So I don't know. You really can't. I don't know. They knew it was bad. And I think what we're learning right now, too, is that we have shut down everything. The economy has basically shut down and hit the brakes. And I know for a fact that people in China, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I want to believe that their government, we're in the same situation. Our governments and everybody else's governments are, is like, we can't shut down the whole economy. But then it was like, oh shit, everybody's dying. Like we got to shut everything down. I think what's going to happen is we're going to jump into getting back to work too soon, and it's going to spread again. I think the way we're moving, as fast as we're moving, if we don't find a cure for this, or we are putting ourselves at risk trying to open the economy back up.
Okay.